guys. This is Hugo. Usually it's Hugo and Lisa, but we decided to do that differently because we give the name to our YouTube channel, Peaceful Rage. But for me, it's Rageful Peace, and that's why we have that. Me and Lisa always has been black and white. I've put our relation very interesting in the past 16 years. We know each other for 16 years. It's been a mix of very grateful moment and love, and also a very dramatic situation. We went through a lot in the past 16 years. I'm gonna use the occasion tonight to talk about mental health. Because obviously it's a very serious problem in the society of today, and yeah, we took that very seriously here. If you guys have seen the news for the short period of time here, mental health is a crisis all across the board. And we have been affected by mental health here. I doesn't want to say more than other family, but we have been affected by mental health here quite a bit. And the story start a long way. Start for me and Lisa together start 16 years ago. But the core of the problem have begin way before that. And I don't know where to start with all this. I'm gonna start for now for the video of tonight. I'm gonna start from 16 years ago when me and Lisa have begun together. It's been the relationship I've developed on a very fast pace. The passion to when me and Lisa have met was there right from the beginning. How I can explain is like it was lightning. I walk inside Lisa's house for her birthday. It was her birthday that year, 16 years ago, and I can feel the passion in her. I can feel she was a very lovable woman with a lot of ambition, and obviously a very strong character, just like I have. And yeah, and it's how the relationship have start. We get pregnant very quickly. You have a lots other issue have come up. I was coming from another relationship in the past with 3 kids all the way across the country, and I went back for a little bit, try to figure out what's going to happen with my relationship in Quebec and my 3 kids in Quebec. And unfortunately, I hasn't come back for 7 months. And yes, Lisa have give birth of our oldest daughter together by yourself. I come back here, and I was 7 months, and she was on a very critical situation. Our daughter, oldest daughter, have a disease called spinal muscular atrophy type 1. It is the first genetic killer in infants. Basically, the diagnosis 16 years ago was very poor diagnosis. Was the life expectation was between 8 months and 2 years old. Basically, before I show up, Lisa has been told to take a lot of picture, and basically I have nothing they can do. And they went further than that. It was they have, for what I can say, they have absolutely no interest to try to do anything either. It's where our story have started to become a nightmare, basically. I come up, I met Anna for the first time. I believe she was around 7 months old. I remember walking in the room, that beautiful little girl with the mask in her face, and it was very disturbing for me. It was, try to figure out all the tubing and all that stuff. I pick her up inside, I believe was after 15 minutes I have met her. And the nightmare have begun right off the bat. I realized what has been done to our daughter at the hospital was not the right thing at all. And start learning quick the symptom of the disease and the struggle she was going through. And yeah, and you know, she's been. I get disturbed when I talk about it because what I have seen, it was, sorry, the language was very disgusting. And I see my wife, I don't know many times, to all the nurses, to all the doctor, to something was coming, to something was going wrong, and they doesn't know, just don't want to listen. And I think it was the second day, I believe I was around. Um, I remember Lisa was on the phone with somebody about something very important, and a respiratory therapist show up with a machine called cough assist. And Lisa have told them to don't touch her. She's very stable right now. She doesn't need it. And of course, I was not understanding English too much at the time, and I was not understanding exactly what's going on. And anyway, the respiratory therapist go with the treatment of cough assist, and basically, without going on detail, my daughter went on partial cardiac arrest and respiratory distress. She turned blue. The medical team have basically seized up. I started CPR myself on her, and anyway, the story of Endo turning very dramatic is like she enrolled in PICU then, and right away the only thing what we've been asked, we don't even have the chance to walk inside PICU. We have a team of doctors waiting for us at the door, telling us to, you know, basically the only choice we have is shut down the machine. And those kind of events have happened more than one time, and have happened on a regular basis. And me and Lisa fight hard. My dog is barking right now. I'm just gonna go get her, and I will come right back. And come, Belly. That's my baby. It's a present for my wife. I believe now 5 years ago. And purebred American Border Collie. I suffer from PTSD. Then those animals, they are very good for me. She knows right now I'm a little bit. I'm not myself. Just talking about all this is like bring some emotion up, and she catch on it. She was laid down upstairs, and all of a sudden she started crying to come see me. And animal, it's a big part of our life. I'm gonna go back what I was saying, and yeah, it was me and Lisa have started. We wanted to have my daughter trait for be able to have her respiratory under control, and just for that alone, it was a terrible fight. They was telling us it will not change your quality of life, it will not change your diagnostic, and things like that. But between the first episode I have seen, Lisa have some episodes before with her, the same thing, respiratory distress, go on partial cardiac arrest due to a respiratory issue, turning blue. When I mentioned partial cardiac arrest, is because on an infant, when the heart rate go below 50, they start the reanimation procedure. When the heart rate and the respiratory drop, they start the reanimation procedure then, and that have been done on Anna more than one. And for what I remember, have been done with me there 4 times. And every single time it was the pressure of every doctor waiting for us at the door of PICU. We don't even see our daughter yet. They was waiting there for us, putting pressure to give up to what we've been doing. It was the wrong thing. It was better to let her go. And it is what it is, and nothing we can do. But we never accept that opinion of them. We always fight. Lisa put it's like a titan fight. it's how I can describe it. That woman have hold down older ground against a full mid-school team and basically against um, the Children's Hospital of Edmonton. She have totally older ground. It was amazing to see that little woman be able to face as many people. And of course, other events have keep going. The fight have keep going. We finally get Anna Strake done, and the misery was just keep going at the story, and it was basically mental abuse. And what it was, have created a lot of damage on our family, and that it's only one event. And the event have keep going, keep going. We fight, we bring Anna at home. We've been all happy to bring Anna at home. And the first night, we've been so happy to have my daughter at home. We organized everything. Home care have been set up, and they sent us a RN, a registered nurse, who was supposed to give the training to every nurse who's going to work with Anna at home. And I went to bed early at the time. We speak about this, it's about 14 years and a half ago, and I can remember just like it was yesterday. The RN wait till I go to bed, and she started on Lisa's case. You're totally wrong with what you're doing, and you should revise your position on that, and put extreme pressure on Lisa to basically bring Anna back to the hospital and considering shutting off the machine. Then I decided to kick that RN out of my house. We report that to home care, and we have been very clear to we will like to see the result of the investigation and what kind of measures going to be taken against that nurse. Make sure that doesn't happen again. And I doesn't have to tell you guys. I'm sure you guys very well know what's happened. We never get any report of the investigation. We never get any information about what's happened to that nurse. And then that if you look on the code of ethic of a nurse, that nurse should have lose her license under that. And of course, probably never happened. And stuff like this all the time have happened. We have even a nurse that is one of the events where I have more grunge, and I've created lots of damage on my mental state. We have a very good nurse who was taking care of my daughter and very friendly with the rest of our family. She showed up at home one day crying, and we started asking questions what was going on. And at the time, her work permit, she doesn't have a full Canadian citizen at the time, of course, and her work permit was saying HCA on it. HCA is only a nursing aid, and during that time, the status of my daughter has changed. HCA was not enough deep care for what my daughter was needing. Then they changed her status to she was requiring LPN to work with my daughter. And then that nurse who was HCA, she went to school and she get her diploma and she get her license as a LPN. Then they put her on the schedule as a LPN, but the problem is they keep her pay as a HCA. And the nurse have mentioned that to them, and the answer she get from the company she was working, a third-party company, a subcontractor to Alberta Healthcare, the Department of Home Care, told her to, I'm sorry, but your work permit say only HCA. Then we're gonna keep paying you as a HCA. And if you don't like it, we can call immigration. They're going to put you on a pair of handcuffs, and they're going to send you back to your country. That poor girl was completely destroyed. Then I took on my own to contact my home care team, and we have a big meeting at home with my home care team and the owner of the home care company concerned, and it was a very active meeting. I'm not gonna go on detail, but absolutely nothing has been done. The company never have absolutely any consequences to their action. And with the year pass, those issues have keep going, and Lisa have get pregnant with our son, Caleb, and once again, with all the tests during the pregnancy, they have find out, unfortunately, to have another medical issue with our child, and it was hydrocephalus to his water in the ventricle of the brain, and from there, right away, the pressure have started to, you should consider to abortion and blah blah blah, and the pressure was quite intense, and even the doctor went as far to say, why do you willing to give birth to another handicapped child? And that was a comment from a physician. That have created a wave. Lisa was completely destroyed. I was very upset, and we decided to go through with the pregnancy. No matter what, we have been put on contact with neurosurgeon, who, after my son is born, have done an amazing job. But of course, you have right at birth, they start noticing to you have something else was going on. It was Williams syndrome, and with the Williams syndrome, you have some complication. It's on the same family to Down syndrome. Then you have some cardiac issue attached to this. And of course, my son have pulmonary stenosis. Is the vein between the heart and the lung is lots more narrow than the average child. And unfortunately, my son passed away at 3 months old on Father's Day morning. It was a terrible shock for our family. You have some neglect who have happened without going too much on detail. The goal of my video is mental health, and I'm going to that slowly here. Plus, not to mention to my mother-in-law was living with us. To his, she's very highly addicted to VLT machine. It has been a nightmare for my wife for many, many years. From been live on the vehicle in the parking lot of a casino, I don't know at how many times, when she was young, get beat up at home when her mom was getting on a rampage for money for gambling. Her husband have been beat up and been arrested, bring to the police station with my wife. The woman was taking off with the wallet and go have a heatlh at the VLT machine. And I have noticed that myself on the 16 years I have passed with Lisa. She was living with us, and sometime my father-in-law was coming at home and fighting in my basement the night before my son's funeral. All those events have created a massive, massive chaos on our life too. Right now it's just like a big circle. We basically cannot get out of it. And we've been asking help to our home care team, what to do with my mother-in-law, because we just don't want to put her in the street and she doesn't get the help she deserves. We'll never go anywhere. Lisa, I've tried to get her help for years and years and years. After my father-in-law passed away, we needed to purchase a house. My father-in-law have lived a small amount of money to my wife to we have put on down payment on that house. My mother-in-law have moved with us, and boom, another problem have started. She started getting hooked up on the romance scam on internet, believing to a guy from Nigeria is going to come save her. All her money was going there, and that is still going on to this day, 7 years later. And it's trauma after trauma and after trauma, and between that, Lisa faced thyroid cancer. It was a very big shock for all of us. To her thyroid cancer have come back, and she was needed surgery, bring us down to the ground again. And between all this, the attack with home care, the nurse complained to us. They feel like they are abused by the company. They have been intimidated, and we bring all those issues to home care all the time. And never nothing has been done. Home care give us for reason to do on the RTI. They work for third party. They don't have to intervene. Other subcontractor threat their employee. It's totally wrong. I already double checked their policy. It's black and white on their policy. They have to intervene if stuff like this has been reported to them, but they just totally refuse. They told me they're in the RTI. And just quickly, I try to remember some event. Just quickly like this. One day in PICU, my daughter was in PICU for, I don't remember the reason exactly, but it's out of the point. The patient's right beside my daughter. In PICU, it's a big unit. To basically the patient, they are side by side, and it's very intensive care there. I see some stuff there too. It's basically it's unbelievable. But right beside my daughter at the time, we have a patient who have HIV, and yes, they have lose a needle. It does happen. That it's not the issue I tried to bring up. The issue what I tried to bring up is my wife have told me at the time, Hugo, put a mark on the calendar, 3 months down the road, they're going to find a stupid reason to request a HIV test on Anna. And I said, nah, it's not going to happen. And yes, it have happened. The doctor walked inside the room, built up a story about how they will like to have Anna tested for HIV because they have a RT who have unplugged the trach and get spread by secretion on her eye, and she requests a HIV test. When I mentioned the doctor, I said, don't bullshit me, because I know exactly 3 months ago, it's about the time it took for HIV be able to spread to your bloodstream and be able to get their accurate testing. And I told the doctor that I was totally aware that they have lose HIV needle in PICU downstairs. Her face turned totally white. Of course, she denied the thing. It's event after event after event at the hospital like that. And yeah, anyway, I was talking about Lisa's cancer there, and we've been lucky. They've been able to remove the cancer there, and we tried to catch up on our life with everything what was going on. The chaos with my mother-in-law hooked up to romance scam online, and all of a sudden 2 years ago, my wife get a brain bleed who almost killed her. I was up in Fort-McMurray then, and the last news I have received, I was in the airport waiting to come back home. The company has been awesome with us. Organized my flight to come back at home, but unfortunately I have a delay on the plane. I've been stuck in Calgary airport for 5 hours. And the only news I have received is she's on the way to the university hospital, and she need a brain surgery, and we don't know the outcome. And that's it. No more communication for 5 hours. I show up in Edmonton, rush to University Hospital. She's not even hooked up on IV. Looks very confused, headache. And of course I freak out. I cannot get any information, and all of a sudden she doesn't need surgery anymore. the uh, the bleeding in her head have slowing down, and but anyway, out of the fact is when Lisa showed up at the hospital, she was on terrible pain. I have seen the video. I've been called on FaceTime, on Messenger. I remember I was sitting in the crew cab with a few other workers, and I can see my wife on the ground just screaming and screaming and screaming. And the ambulance has been called. And when she showed up at the hospital, of course, the nurse was telling her, oh, just stop screaming, it's only a headache, and you're going to be fine, and you're going to be fine, and you're going to be fine. And the time passed, and, you know, finally, I don't know exactly those details, somebody started noticing something was not quite right. Then they rush her at the back, CT scan, and boom, she have a brain bleed. And they have the face to tell her to 80% of the people with those kind of brain bleed die. And earlier, you have a few nurses who was laughing about her, telling her to just stop screaming, to it's not the end of the world, this is just a headache. Then tell you the perspective of kind of event we go through all the time. And I suffer from PTSD. I'm out of work for 2 years now. That is totally another story. And people just tell you when you suffer from mental health, the comment you get can be very nasty. Or kick your ass, get out of this, it's just your state of mind, and get up and function like normal people and everything is gonna be better. I tell you, it doesn't happen quite like that. It hasn't. It don't. And you know, I'm at home for 2 years now. I think it's about 2 years ago, Lisa made a suicidal attempt. I have stopped, me and her son have stopped her to go on with it. Call mental health line and get some counseling, 1 appointment a month. We have her admitted at the hospital after like a nightmare. She been tackled on the ground by 6 security guard, male security guard. And I have tried to give them the information about Lisa, how she is, how she reacts with certain conversation, what to expect from her. But they put her under Alberta Mental Health Act. Basically, they do what they want with her. They keep us totally separated. They don't want to listen absolutely nothing to what I have to say. And again, I've created more damage than hasn't fixed anything at all. And since then, I'm even worse than I was. What they told me, oh, you need to go see a psychologist, you need to take those pills, you need to take that. Look, why should I take pills and go talk to a psychologist when nobody have any interest to fix what is the problem? I can take pills as much as I want. I can go talk to a damn psychologist as much as I want. But every time I show up to the hospital with my daughter on a critical situation, I have a pile of doctors who try to convince me to just shut down the machine and pass at something else. I don't think the pills or the psychologist is going to fix anything. Every time I have nurse complain at me to they are victim of harassment, mental abuse, and nobody want to do nothing, what the pill's going to fix? It's not going to fix anything. Go talk to the psychologist when I told them all those issues, and they cannot say anything because they use the Privacy Act. It's a conversation between a health professional and a patient. They cannot talk about that. But they are willing to give me pills and make me talk with a damn psychologist who they drive me nuts. First thing, because they have no clue. They give you an appointment 1 time a month. They talk to you about an hour. What the heck they can tell you about yourself? And personally, I do not believe on that. Maybe it work for some people, and I encourage people, if it worked great for you, it's perfect. But for me, it doesn't work. I want to make sure the problem is going to be fixed, and nobody else is gonna have to get through what I go through, what my wife go through. Do I see her crying every day? She doesn't want to get up of bed, and she have no trust on anybody. And for me, I have zero trust. I mean, zero trust on the healthcare system. None. They never have given me one reason to believe on them. Then, can you imagine when they told me to go talk to a psychologist? I put the psychologist to the test, and so far, none of them have passed my test. And that's why it's very important. Even I'm gonna bring my little daughter to the story. My little daughter she turned 11 years old 2 days ago, and right the day of her birthday, right at school, some young boy had hit on her weight, about her weight. She come back at home, she's crying, and she's been bullied before. We have COVID, we keep her at home. During COVID, the school start, the same issue start. Yes, I have called the principal. I'm gonna see what that's gonna give, but I don't have a very big expectation because we never get the result that way in the past. And I seriously think people do not take mental health seriously enough. Everybody have like I was saying earlier, have the idea to say, oh, you know what, shake it off, it's gonna pass. Go talk to someone. But I mean, go talk to someone. If somebody tell you seriously not doing good, other than tell them maybe, oh, you should go talk to someone, maybe offer them to go take a coffee or go drink a coffee and try to talk with them a little bit. And stop ignoring the issue because, oh, I doesn't want people to know that we have mental issue on my family. I doesn't want people to know to my best friend it's crazy. It's the problem of our society today. The people always think, oh, I have no time for this, or I'm too busy for that, or you have professional for this. It's wrong. It's totally wrong, and it's what we live in today. And it is very sad to see all this. And I don't know where our problem will stop here, but it's very serious. And I hope you guys, if you guys have some family member with some mental health issue, please take care of them. And if you guys feel like it starts to be too much, try to do some phone call because, you know, those things happen very quickly. And one day she complained she's alone or he's alone, and you guys answer, oh, please shake it up. And guess what? You give a phone call the next day, no answer. Those things happen too. And it's not easy to live with it. When somebody knows we could have go a little bit above and beyond, but decide to not do it, and all of a sudden the person is gone. It's happened as quick, guys. Then please pay attention to the sign, because the sign, they are there. We just make the choice to ignore them. And unfortunately, the system do not care. They say on TV, on the news, they do, but they don't. They absolutely don't. I can tell you that right now. Believe me or not, that is your own choice, but maybe one day, I hope not, but maybe one day you guys are going to find out. And that is only one chapter to our life. We're going to talk a little bit more on our next video, and hopefully, well, don't know if I should say you guys have enjoyed, because it's not a subject it's too much, it's not nice to talk about it, but it's something we need to do. Then thank you for watching, and If you guys like what we've been doing, please subscribe on the note below. And thank you again.